Okay, class, please stand up. Good morning, class.
Good morning, teacher.
Stand, please.
Thank you.
Okay, how are you today?
Fine.
Fine. Are you happy?
Yes.
No, yes. Okay. I am a little sad today because I didn't sleep very well last night. Why? Because I'm a little bit excited to have such a class with you. So when people are very excited or some other serious emotions, maybe we cannot sleep very well. But as you can see in the slide, at night the earth didn't sleep. So if the earth didn't sleep very well, what may happen to it? Let's watch a video to find out the answer. And when you are watching the video, please remember to think about two questions. What do you see and how do you feel? Understand?
Yes.
Okay. What happened to the earth? What happened? An earthquake. So what do you see? What do you see? Huang
I see buildings fell down and many people rushed out of the building to hide themselves.
Okay, you see some buildings fell down and some people rushed out of the buildings. Now please, anything else? What do you see? Okay, Roger Long.
I can see the ground turn up and down.
Oh, you can see the ground turn up and down. Very good. So please. Okay. Anything else? Chen Feng.
I see the bridge was broken and the roads. You can even see the underground way on the road.
Okay, Sam, please. You see the bridge is broken. It's broken into pieces. So the ground is shaking violently. Is that right? Yes. So we can use some words to describe the earthquake. We can see something destroyed. We can see some buildings, some bridges fell down, and some people get injured, and something, for example, the windows of the building burst into pieces, and finally the wall of the building cracked. So do you know cracked? Crack. You can see the picture. Crack, when something cracked, it split into pieces. So how do you feel? How do you feel? Any volunteer? 大家好.
People are scared and don't know what they should do.
Oh, people are scared and confused to know how they can do. Okay, so please. Any other adjective you can think of to describe people's feeling? People feel scared and frightened and scared and shocked. Very good. Okay, so when we are describing something or an earthquake like this, we can use a video or we can just use some words just like this. So which one do you think is better? Video, because video is more vivid, vivid or powerful. But words can also be as powerful and effective as a video if we use them in a proper way. But how? How can we use our words to make an impressive description? That is one of the learning objectives for today's class. How and what? So in today's class, you are supposed to, first one, to read the whole passage and catch the key information and put them into a mind map. And number two, to appreciate the language for description and apply it to practice. So are you ready for today's class?
Yes.
So let's get started. Okay, as you can see in the reading material, so we can see there are 4 paragraphs in this passage, and I will give you just 2 minutes to read it, which means you need to read it very quickly. And you are supposed to find out the topic sentence of each paragraph. Here we go, 2 minutes. Okay, time is up. So let's see what you have got. Which one is the topic sentence of paragraph 1? Yes, the first sentence of this paragraph. Strange things were happening in the northeast of Hebei. And what about paragraph 2? It seemed as if the world was at an end. And paragraph 3? Very good. And what about the last paragraph? Exactly. So another question for you. Listen carefully. In what order is the passage organized? Time or place? Time. So according to this basic information, I think it is not very hard for you to divide the whole passage into 3 parts. So how can we divide it into 3 parts? The first part is before the earthquake. Which paragraph? First paragraph. So paragraph 1 is part 1. That is before the earthquake. Strange things before the earthquake. And part 2 is paragraph 2 and paragraph 3. That is what during the earthquake? Damage. And what about part 3? Obviously, it's something after the earthquake. So what after the earthquake?
Rescue.
Rescue work. So this is the general structure of this passage. Okay, people always organize a passage or a paragraph by giving a topic sentence and then follow some detailed information. So it's time for you to read part 1 again to find some detailed information to see how the author adds some details to support the topic sentence. So another 2 minutes for you to find out what are the strange happenings. What happened to these items listed in the slide? Okay, so have you got the detailed information?
Yeah.
What happened to the water?
Rose.
Yeah, the water rose and fell. And what happened to the well wall? Deep cracks. And what about children or pigs? They were too nervous to eat. And mice. And fish. What about fish? And the last one, water pipes. Cracked and burst. So I think, pay attention to these yellow boxes. So I think we can put them into put them together because they are all about animals. So what kind of animals? Yeah, uncommon, abnormal, unusual. They were not the same as usual. So we can use this adjective to describe them. Okay, so all of these are what people saw before the earthquake. And what else did people smell? Smelling gas. And what else did people hear? Sound. So we can put these supporting details into a mind map just like this. So part 1 is about strange happenings before the earthquake. And we also describe the happiness from 3 different parts, 3 different aspects. What people saw, what people hear, and what people smell. Now, on the other hand, what about people's feeling? How did people feel before the earthquake? Can you find a direct answer from the passage? You are supposed to use one adjective to describe people's feeling. Pay attention to the last sentence of this part. The last sentence of this part. But the 1 million people of the city who thought little of these events were asleep as usual. So do you know think little of? Can you guess the meaning of it? Unaware. If you think little of something, it means you didn't care. Yeah, very good. You just ignore it. So did people notice any strange happenings before the earthquake? No. So they are unaware. Very good. They are unaware or ignorant. Ignorant. So let's make a conclusion for this part. Before the earthquake, there are some unusual things happening. But people were asleep as usual. So there is a contrast between nature and human. So in this part, what tips for description can we get? What tips for description can we get? When we are describing something, we can cover different aspects involving our senses. Because, for example, what we see, what we hear, and what we smell. Okay. Now, let's move on to part 2. In this part, your task is to read 2 paragraphs. That is paragraph 2 and paragraph 3. Read them carefully and work in groups. Work in groups to draw a mind map for part 2. The requirements are listed here. For example, you see, in the mind map, you should involve a center topic, and we should list some branches to list some detailed information, and we should use our own words as soon as possible. And if possible, you should figure out the storyline between nature and human. Are you clear? Yes. 7 minutes for you. Here we go.
他就是
影响的话，我觉得影响的，影响的，他。
Okay, time is up. So I'd like to invite some students to share your group's work with us. So anyone here? Okay, 罗俊龙。
During the Tangshan earthquake, paragraph 223. In the beginning, it tells us the general situation, including time, range, and its degree. Then, it takes a lot to tell us the extreme damages, contain huge cracks, dirt, people, buildings, and animals, etc. So we can see it is the majority of the paragraph at 2 and 3. At last, it describes people's feelings from unbelievable to wonderful. So we can see it connects people's feelings with the ruins, making the paragraphs more organized.
Okay, thank you very much. I have a question for you, Lo Junlong. I have a question for you. So people's feeling, you say people's feeling changed from unbelievable to wondered. What do you mean by wondered?
It means people wondered how the disaster would last.
Okay, so we can use wondered. Wondered is an adjective. Can we use another word to describe people's feeling here? People are wondering how long the disaster would last. They are confused. Very good. Some please. Some please. Any other volunteer? Okay, 沈嘉玲。
So I divided these two paragraphs into two parts. One is the extreme damage, and the other one is people's feeling. And the extreme damage includes first, one third of the nation felt it. It means the earthquake is large scale. And the second is a crack cut across houses. There are some other destroyed, but I think the crack is the most important, so I listed it. It means the crack cut across crosses. It means the crack is large and wide. The third is all living things were suffering, no matter animals, people, all of them, one of them lost their lives, and others lost their families or parents. And the last is everything was destroyed. Buildings fall down, and railway rails was cut into pieces and unable to use again. And the second part is people's feeling. Before the earthquake, people is unaware. They don't know what happened. And they didn't know what happened. And during the earthquake, people were confused. They wondered how long the disaster would last. And after the earthquake, people was shocked. They were shocked by the nature's power.
Very good. Okay, I think her retelling is more detailed. Give us more detailed information, and I think her expression is very excellent. Do you think so?
Yes.
Okay. Any other volunteer? 周荣腾。
The whole passage really talk about the whole story of Tangshan earthquake, and things goes with the timeline during, before, and after. The part during mainly talk about extremely damage and people's feeling. As for people's which could be, as for the during could mostly tell about the detailed information about the earthquake, and which could be divided into parts: extremely damage and people's feeling. As for the extremely damage, we can find it talk about large range, natural science, human science. As for the natural science, we can see crack appear, steam burst, hot hill become rivers and animals. Human science, such as buildings gone, bricks blown away, dam and bridge fail, railway track useless, and well filled. As for people feeling, I found that they are afraid and shocked and desperate, because we can find in the passage the people wonder the earthquake when to end, and injury more than 400,000. Thank you.
Okay, I think in Zhou Longteng's mind map, he used an adjective to describe people's feeling, that is desperate. He described people's feeling change from in the part one, in the part before part, people feel unaware, and then people feel shocked, and then people feel desperate. Why he used this adjective? Because people are wondering how long the disaster would last. How long? When did the earthquake come to an end? So people feel desperate. I think this word is very good. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, I'd like to show you my version of mind map for during part. In this part, the author described the extreme damage from two aspects, the city and the people. And have you ever noticed that in this part, the author used many numbers here to describe the extreme damage. So, what is the function of these numbers? What does the author want to show us using these numbers? Powerful, yeah. He wants to show us that the earthquake is very powerful. Okay, so when we are describing something, we can list some. If we want our words to be more powerful, we can list some numbers. Okay, on the other hand, people's feeling. What was people's feeling? Just now, Zhou Longteng said people feel desperate, and Xiong Jialin said people feel confused. So we can use two adjectives to describe people's feeling here. People were shocked. It is mentioned in the passage. Okay, and another word, I'd like to use hopeless. Hopeless, because people lost their hope in this part. In the front of the disaster, powerful earthquake, people can do nothing but to wait the earthquake to come to an end. Is that right? Yes. So in this part, also there is a storyline between human nature. That is, the earthquake is powerful, but people are powerless. So another striking contrast between nature and human. Okay. Now, in this part, there are some special sentences, I think. Please read them together loud. Bricks covered, 1, 2, go.
Bricks covered the ground like red autumn leaves. It seemed as if the world was at an end. Everything was destroyed.
Okay, so what makes these sentences special? Do you have a picture here? Yes. So when we are reading these sentences, even without picture or a video, we can easily understand or imagine what happened during the earthquake. Isn't it?
Yes.
So, for example, when I'm reading this sentence, I will think of this picture. Bricks like red autumn leaves. And the second one, I will think of such a picture. The world was at an end. And the third one, everywhere, everything was destroyed. I would think of such a picture. So what kind of language is so powerful? It's so powerful for us to easily imagine what happened. That is figures of speech. In Chinese we say 修辞手法. Yeah. So the first in the first sentence, what figures of speech is used here? 比喻. Yeah, you can just answer me in Chinese. 比喻, similar. And it seemed as if the world was at an end. At an end. 夸张, exaggeration. And the third one? Also exaggeration. Okay. So when we are describing something, we get another tip for description. When we are describing something, we can use some figures of speech to make our words more powerful or vivid. Okay. Now, let's move on to the last part. In this part, people, as you can see in the slide, the army, workers, and the team, soldiers, all the people came together to rebuild the city. And what did they do? What did they do? Please pay attention to the verbs used in this passage. Read part 3 carefully to find out the verbs used in this passage. What did the soldiers do? What did the team do? What did the workers do? Okay, what did the soldiers do? They helped. And what about the team? Okay, what else? What did the workers do? They built some shelters. So all of these are what people did after the earthquake. So what is the result of their efforts? Hundreds of thousands of people And 10,000 miners were rescued. And the fresh water was again. So pay attention. Here, some numbers are listed once again. So what can we infer from these numbers? What can we infer from these numbers? What does the author intend to show us by these numbers? Any volunteer? What can be indicated by these numbers? Wang Huafei.
With the support with the society, hope was not lost.
With the help of the society, hope was not lost. Hope was not lost. Okay, so please. So with these numbers, the author wants to tell us it is not that people can do nothing in front of the disaster. So people can do something, okay? Now, so did people still feel hopeless? No. No, they are hopeful. How do you know? How do you know? The first sentence. Can you find a sentence in the passage to support your answer? All hope was not lost. I don't think so. Can you find another answer? Find another sentence too. Slowly the city began to breathe again. Very good. Okay, so this is the general detailed information for part 3. So look at the blackboard. This is what we have learned today. We catch the key information of the passage, and we learned something about how to describe an earthquake or something else. Okay, so it's time for you to practice to describe the picture. Okay, turn to page 4. Turn to page 4. Your task is to describe the 3 pictures on your worksheet. Try to describe them as vivid as you can. As vivid as you can. Okay, this is individual work, which means you need to complete it on your own. Remember to use these tips we have learned in this class. Understand? Yes, okay, here we go. Just 2 minutes for you. Okay, time is up. Any volunteer? Any volunteer to come to the blackboard to write down your sentences? 大家好, please. Anyone else? 万里鹏程，对啊，黄心妍。You can write down just one sentence to describe the picture you have. And your task is to see what tips for description do they use. Okay, look at the blackboard. The first one, the unpleasant smell is filled with the room full of anxious patients. So what tips for description does he use? The unpleasant smell is filled with the room full of anxious patients. What figures of speech is used here? The unpleasant smell. Oh, it's no figures of speech. So what tips is used here? Smell, yeah. What they smell. And look at this one. The strong wind is shouting and blowing two lines of cheese, which makes the cheese more move their body. Yeah, personal figures of speech. And what about the last one? There are plenty of students who are just shining, just like the rising sun, speaking English with their beautiful voices. Figures of speech. Very good. Okay. I think you have done a great job here. Okay, let's make a conclusion for today's class. What lessons have you learned? I'd like you to use only one sentence to conclude today's class. Only one sentence. You can just write down on your paper. Also, you can have a discussion with your partner. When we are facing a natural disaster like an earthquake, what shall we do? What attitude shall we take towards it? Okay, time is up. I'd like to use a sentence to conclude this today's class. I think when we are facing a natural disaster, which is so powerful and destructive, we should face it bravely. So I'd like to quote Hemingway's words here. A man can be destroyed, but not defeated. So what about your version? Any volunteer? 那个万花北。
Storms make trees take deeper roots.
Once again, loudly.
Storms make trees take deeper roots.
Storm make trees take deeper roots. Very good. Sit down, please. Anyone else? 梁凯浩。
Never give up when you face the natural disasters.
Never give up
When you face the natural disasters.
when you face the natural disasters. Very good. So please. Anyone else? 何静。
Hope is a good thing, maybe the best thing, and no good things ever die.
Hope is a good thing, maybe the best thing, and no good thing ever die. Can you understand it? No. What is the meaning of this sentence? It's up to you.
希望是个好东西，也许是人间至善，然后美好的事物永不消失。
Okay, sit down, please. So next time when we are meeting with some difficulties, we should not lose our hope. We should stay positive toward it and face it bravely. Is that right? So don't forget your homework today.
Yes.
Okay, so that's all for today's class. Class is over. Stand up. Goodbye, class.
Goodbye, teacher.